Where do you put Russell?
All
In
time,
Yeah, yeah,
I think he's better than Chris Paul.
really.
I do. I
We-
do.
Okay,
He's an MVP.
let's
He's an
go ahead and talk
MVP.
about it. Let's go ahead and talk about it.
I'm just saying he's an MVP, man. And yeah,
Yeah.
he's been to the finals too. He hasn't won it yet, but he's an MVP. There's only so many guys that have achieved that in the league. First and foremost,
Mhm.
Chris Paul is a really great point guard, but I think everybody puts him about fifth, right? So that means Russell's fourth to fifth. Because he's definitely over Chris Paul. Are you calling Allen Iverson a guard, a point guard, or shooting guard? I think we call him a shooting guard. Let's just stick with that because I don't want to disrespect nobody. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you went point guards, you got to go Curry,
Well, no,
Magic.
let's just stick to Chris Paul and Russell Westbrook. I actually really like that. I think they're very similar in terms of their dominance and the way they've been able to dominate the game, playing their game and their style. The question I would have that I feel like a lot of people would have in arguing for Chris Paul would be, has there been a point guard who's been able to travel as well as he has in terms of going to different teams and immediately bringing their stock up? Let's not forget Chris Paul went to the Thunder to die. Like they sent him there to retire, and he made it to the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, he was top five in the West that season,
Top four.
top four in the West that season.
Yeah.
Would you say, and that's arguing for Chris Paul, would you say Russell has had that same impact on the teams he's gone to? Because some people would argue Russ has had a regression on the teams that he's gone to. He's because of his play style and the way he needs to be ball dominant.
I disagree. I believe he still took Oklahoma City to the playoffs when Kevin Durant left, and he left for nothing. It's not like they got to trade him and get value for him. So he left for nothing. And let's not even name off the squad that Russ had that first year. Oladipo was the next best name, and he was not that great that year. He averaged 16 points. The year Russ won MVP, and that's why he won MVP as a six seed, I believe, as a six seed, right? Because he had to
Mm,
do that much, and that was the first year of the triple double, right?
mm,
As a
mm.
point guard, a 6'3" guard. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
It's not historically. There's only been two point guards who, in history, lead their team to the finals: Stephen Curry and Isaiah Thomas of the Detroit Pistons. So this is something that through the entire history of the league is not really likely that a point guard can lead a team to the finals. They're the smallest guy out there. All right. You need to have another top guy that's a big. We can go through the list, but the bigs do it. Not too many guards can. You have to be extremely special, beyond special. You have to be rare.
Are we going
Russ.
to say that Chris Paul? Oh, go ahead, finish.
Well, I was just gonna say that. Well, Russ as an individual, because you're saying that he better teams. He better OKC without Kevin Durant. He did better Washington. Washington weren't making the playoffs. He got there. Things were shaky from the start, and he gets into the playoffs. And that was only in 1 year. Now what if he would have got 2 or 3 years there? But instead he goes back to LA for family reasons. I just want you to look up, you get some free time. How many games did Anthony Davis and LeBron play that year? And how many games did Russ play? Right? Because when they say that Russ brought the Lakers down, I think LeBron and Anthony Davis played somewhere in the 50s, right? And you still have Russ out there giving you 18, 8, and 8.
I love playing devil's advocate. When you say Russ made OKC better after Katie left, that would be not telling the truth. Katie and Russ had them in the finals. Katie left, they didn't make the finals. Technically, that would be considered a regression. Now let's look at who else you're
No,
listing.
I'm
When you
saying
talk
he made
about
them better in the sense that
he got them to the playoffs
You take Russ off that team, you're not nowhere near the playoffs.
for sure. And you could say the same
Just
exact
like
thing
when
for
Russ
Chris. Hold
got
on, let me
injured and
finish. I'll let you
hold
finish.
on real quick.
I'll
When
let
Russ
you.
got injured and KD had to lead that team, they didn't make the playoffs.
All right,
And
but
Russ
Katie
still led
left.
that team to the playoffs.
But Katie
That's what I
left.
meant by that.
Got you. But Katie left. He made it to the finals and won, right? Without Russ. And
With the
then, not to
Warriors.
mention, let's also mention too as well. Chris Paul wasn't he doing that with the Hornets way before Russ was doing that with OKC, leading teams solo? Phenomenal, correct? Okay, leading. Let's say leading a team to the playoff. Let's say all in progression. Chris Paul goes to the Suns. they go to the finals. Russ, yes, he made it to the playoffs with the Wizards. He didn't go far. Made it to the playoffs with LA with the Lakers. Didn't go far.
They didn't make it.
Has Russ been back to the finals since KD?
How many years did Chris Paul play before seeing the finals?
But
Russ
hold
saw it when
on,
he was 23.
hold on.
I just said
Russ, they both played for the Rockets with James Harden, correct? Chris Paul made it to the Western Conference Finals
finals twice, but what happened the
twice
first year?
and
Hold on, hold
got
on, hold on.
injured.
That was several years. That was several years. Russ only played 1 year with Harden.
Okay, but
And I don't believe Chris Paul went there to the finals the first year they played together.
they went to Western Conference Finals twice and they lost back to back. Chris Paul got injured. If he didn't get injured, most people would say they would have been going to the finals that year.
I believe that
Russ did
myself.
not. I'm not sure, but the evaluation was not nearly the same with Russ on the Rockets as it was with Chris Paul on the Rockets. Fast forward after that, you go by team.
That's apples as
Chris
apples for
Paul has
oranges.
had a better elevation to his
So
team
I'm
at this
confused. Are
point
we
than
talking?
Russ.
I spoke on an individual success, not team success.
But they're point guards, so they're
You're
only
naming Chris Paul's team success, what his team did. I
yes,
was
but
saying what Russ did, right? As a
they're
player,
both point
he's
guards.
a his and you tell the history of the league. I'm not saying Chris Paul isn't important, but Russell was more important.
Yeah, but they're both point
He's the
guards. Their
he's
success is determined
as
by their
point
team's success, by their
their
ability to
success.
facilitate the
You
ball.
know, they can't control that. You can't control who the
So
team
then I
brings
think a
in.
better argument would be,
You
do you
know,
put
because
Russ?
historically, Chris Paul has had better teams than Russ. You brought up all that about Chris Paul without bringing up the Clippers and all his shortcomings there. At the end of the day, Chris Paul has had teams that he should have got to the finals with. He's had teams that he
Yeah,
should
but
have had
he
repeated
did.
finals appearances with. You know,
But
no, he
he
didn't. He only made to the finals with the Suns, and that was
with
unexpected,
Booker and KD.
bro. And like I
I'm
said,
saying
that was
Russ made it to the finals.
unexpected.
Russ made it to the but he was sent to OKC to die. Everything he did after that was technically unexpected. But if you've been
And Russ
following
was sent to Washington to
But if
die,
you've
and
been
he still
following
made the playoffs.
Chris Paul's career, he's done this. You know, the point that I'm making, though, I believe is a better argument for you when comparing Russell Westbrook to Chris Paul is to put Russell Westbrook in the Allen Iverson sort of conversation. I think it's disrespectful to Chris Paul and what he's done to say then Russell Westbrook is over Chris Paul as a point guard. Because again, even in your individual success, if it's a detriment to the team, does that make you a top tier point guard? If it's detrimental, Oladipo, the year after he left OKC, went to the Pacers and had them in the final, and not finals, had them in the Eastern Conference playoffs. So I don't
Yeah.
know how, I don't think it's, and again, then the next question would be, has there been any player that didn't get better after playing with Chris Paul that Chris Paul
Okay.
didn't
So
make better?
maybe you can say things about leadership, but ultimately Russ just had a better career. He's just a better player. He's an MVP. He has better numbers. He's a triple double king. He just it's just was Chris Paul a better did Chris Paul have better intangibles? Yes, he did. He was a better leader, a better gatherer of men. You could say that.